A basic house cat does a remarkable achievement by protecting all of the pups from the neighbor's nasty dog, but the owners are left stunned when they discover the true motivation behind its courage. Lily was not your typical cat. Her caramel-colored coat and glistening emerald eyes made her unmissable, but her beauty wasn't the only thing that made her unique. Lily exhibited a maternal instinct that went well beyond usual feline behavior. When Lilia was a kitten, the Anderson family, Sarah, Mike, and their toddler Grace, offered her a home after finding her nestled in a cardboard box next to a grocery store, shivering with fear and cold. Grace, a young girl who was just 8 years old at the time, fell in love with the tiny kitten and pleaded with her parents to adopt her. Lily found the first several weeks of her new home difficult, hiding beneath the bed and only going outside after dark to eat. As Lily grew older, Grace showed incredible patience by spending endless hours on the floor next to the bed, softly luring the kitten. Eventually, Lily started to trust her new family. Similar to Blossom, who showed herself to be an exceptionally bright and curious cat, Lily quickly became proficient at opening doors, turning on light switches, and even carrying Grace's school backpack in the mornings. When Grace once brought a wounded bird home, Lily immediately took on the job of its caregiver, demonstrating her extraordinary love for other animals. Caregiver, spending countless hours by the bird's box, protecting it and even trying to feed it. Because of Lily's care, the bird recovered and was able to fly again. One day, during a violent storm, a nest of baby squirrels fell into the Andersons' yard. Unfazed by the rain, Lily ran into the downpour and carefully carried each squirrel to the safety of the Andersons. Before the rain eventually stopped and their mother could return, she kept them safe and warm on the porch during the rainy night. Lily became a neighborhood treasure, and people often visited the Andersons' house to admire the extraordinary cat. Children enjoyed playing with her, and it seemed that the emotion was reciprocated. One day, Sarah saw Lily acting strangely. Her appetite diminished, and she appeared sullen, so the Andersons decided to contact a veterinarian. The veterinarian solved the mystery of Lily's kittens. Lily often sat by the window, staring hopelessly into the horizon. The family experienced a tidal surge of emotions at this revelation. Grace was excited at the prospect of having young kittens. While Mike was already determining how they would accommodate their needs, Sarah Fred was concerned about Lily's welfare. New Friends the next week was devoted to getting ready for the kitten's arrival. Grace used cushions and discarded blankets to make a comfortable nest. While Sarah carefully observed Lily's health, Mike collected special nourishment for expectant cats. On the day of the delivery, Lily liberated the humans of their support. After several hours, Lily shambled out, looking tired but graceful, but to the Andersons' surprise, she had no babies behind her. The family anxiously awaited word, hearing sporadic quiet purrs within the shed. Mike cautiously peered into the snug Lily had made for herself, and his mood fell when he saw the 3 small kittens lying there, dead. Stillborn, the immediately called veterinarian clarified that this phenomenon is not uncommon, especially in young cats. Lily was so distraught that she refused to leave her nest, where she would constantly lick and try to warm her kittens. The Andersons tried using toys and treats as a diversion as they didn't know how to ease their beloved pet's sadness, but after a week, Lily finally came out of hiding, but she had lost the energy the Andersons remembered. She sat by the window for hours, staring blankly into space. Grace tried to play with her, but to no avail, and Sarah and Mike grew more and more concerned about Lily's welfare, so they sought advice. In an attempt to find ways to help the cat get over her depressing state, the veterinarian even started singing to Lily in the hopes that her voice would calm the distressed cat. However, on a hot summer day, while the cat was playing in the yard, everything changed. Grace heard a strange noise coming from beyond the fence, and when she approached, she saw Lily holding a tiny puppy in her jaws. Black puppy whimpering. Grace was shocked and called her parents. The Andersons watched in disbelief as Lily carefully placed the puppy on the turf and nuzzled it like it was her kitten. The Andersons had no idea where the puppy had come from, so Mike recommended either taking it home or calling the police. To an animal care facility, but Sarah was hesitant to watch Lily's loving care of the puppy and refused to separate them while the adults argued. Grace brought an old basket and a soft comforter from their home and carefully placed the puppy inside. At the sight of this loving gesture, Lily immediately hopped in and settled down next to the small animal. Sarah and Mike were moved and decided to temporarily house the puppy. The days that followed were busy and full of excitement as the Andersons posted flyers about the new puppy throughout the neighborhood, but nobody answered. In the meantime, Lily's unwavering devotion to the little one was astounding. She stayed by his side, licking him gently and using her body to keep him warm. AB was taken to see that, in spite of their interspecies differences, Lily had started breastfeeding the puppy. The Andersons' family veterinarian was shocked by this unusual occurrence and said that although they were extremely rare, such occurrences were in fact believable. Lily's milk surprisingly fit the dog. Lily showed genuine concern by feeding the child every 2 hours and even waking up during the weeknight. Maternal devotion on the third morning after their first pup surprise, Lily disappeared once more. The Andersons assumed the cat had gone for a leisurely walk, but when she returned, she had another pup in her mouth. This newcomer was slightly bigger than the first, and he was wearing the same dark fur. Lily took him straight to the basket. The Andersons were baffled as to where Lily had found these puppies and why she was taking them home after containing the first pup and beginning their care with matching kindness. Mike started to think that a dog in the area had just given birth and wasn't taking care of her puppies for some reason. Sarah considered asking the neighbors if any of their dogs had just given birth to puppies, but she had already. They could look into it. Lily gave birth to her third puppy, followed by a fourth and a fifth. I apologize for the interruption, but before we continue, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to this channel. By the end of the week, their home had become a haven for 5 small, dark-furred puppies, all of whom were being watched by Lily. Lily displayed an extraordinary resourcefulness in raising her unusual brood, but even with her constant efforts to feed all 5 pups, her milk was insufficient to sustain them. Realizing this, Grace began giving the pups a nutritious blend from a bottle. It seemed as though Lily understood the necessity of supplemental feeding and patiently waited for Grace to feed each pup before gently licking their faces as if to complete the procedure. As soon as word of Lily's foster parenting spread throughout the neighborhood, people started to take notice of this natural wonder. Some even hailed Lily as a champion. While others showed fear and skepticism, Mrs. Parker, a senior living across the street, claimed to have seen Lily skulking late at night. With a suspicious look on her face, she began circulating rumors that the cat was stealing puppies from underprivileged dogs, but Mr. Rodriguez, the owner of the neighborhood bakery, was enthralled by Lily and would deliver fresh bread to the Andersons and the puppies each day because he felt that such an extraordinary family needed a special treat. Children from surrounding homes kept asking to come observe the unusual family. To them, Grace boasted about how the Andersons found that caring for 5 puppies and a cat quickly became too much to handle. The cost of food and veterinary bills kept rising, and their home was in constant disarray. Lily did a fantastic job of caring for the puppies, telling their stories as though they were her siblings. As tensions increased outside of the Anderson, Mike and Sarah began to debate over what to do next. Household, but also throughout the area, some neighbors started talking about the necessity of hiring animal control services because they thought Lily may be dangerous if she were actually stealing puppies from other dogs. Mike started to get the impression that their rear property was constantly being watched since he could see neighbors pointing at their windows and engaging in gossip. He even saw a man with a camera taking pictures of their house from his car as Sarah was getting close to mental exhaustion. She loved Lily and the puppies, but the neighbors' criticism and scrutiny started to wear her down, and she started to fear leaving the house because she could feel the disapproving looks as she watched her parents suffer. Grace made the decision to intervene. She started her investigation to find out where Lily was getting the puppies. The girl watched the cat for hours by the window in the hopes of following her on the next excursion, while Lily seemed utterly oblivious to the chaos going on around her. She continued to show her feline instincts and show love for the puppies. It was incredible to see when the stress reached its peak one evening, a law enforcement officer knocked on the Andersons' door. He was standing at the threshold of the house with a few anxious neighbors, and he announced that he wanted to talk about Lily and the puppies. The Andersons welcomed the officer into their home, their hearts pounding. Puppies were attempting to mimic cat movements as Lily showed grooming with her paw. Uncertain of how this unwanted visit would end, they decided to protect Lily and her unique household until the very end. The officer entered the living room where Lily was sleeping in a large basket with 5 puppies inside. Even the typically severe law enforcement officer couldn't contain his surprise at this sight and examined Lily and the. After asking the Andersons in-depth questions about their origins, the family told them everything they knew, including Lily's one-by-one rescue mission. At that point, Grace, who had been silent up until that point, came forward and shared her observations of Lily and how the cat often wandered toward the abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Intrigued, the officer made the decision to investigating the lead. Mike and Sarah went to the old house, leaving Sarah and Grace to look after Lily and the puppies. When they returned an hour later, their faces were marked with solemn expressions. They had found a sick stray mother dog in the abandoned house who had just given birth and was too weak and ill to care for her young, so everything began to make sense. Since it was impractical to move them all at once, Lily, motivated by her maternal instinct, had been homing the puppies one at a time, understanding that she was saving them from imminent death rather than kidnapping them. Word of the cat's valiant act of saving the orphan puppies swiftly spread throughout the town, melting everyone's hearts. The locals' perception of the Andersons and Lily was also changed. A significant paradigm change, and everyone looked for ways to assist. The Andersons watched in awe as their pet cat tenderly cared for her foster babies while Lily continued to raise the puppies, and the generous local veterinarian volunteered to treat the mother dog for free. Internet fans applauded Lily's kindness after her incredible story went viral online. Everyone watched to see Lily's reaction as the mother dog recovered and prepared to be reunited with her puppies, but the cat showed incredible wisdom by allowing the biological mother to form a bond with her puppies while Lily took on the role of a loving guardian and remained near them for the majority of the time. This story not only changed Lily's life and the young puppies, but also had an effect on the entire community. People began being kinder to one another and helping their neighbors more often, while the local animal shelters saw an unusual number of cats find new homes. Lily came to represent how affection and compassionate tendencies may surface in the most unlikely circumstances. Did you find this story entertaining? If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. In the most trying times, kindness and love can work true miracles. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Would you have also allowed Lily to keep the puppy? Would you have defended her against the neighbor's accusations?